Right now I'm standing on a village built on top of the ocean, a village in Papua New Guinea where they have some of the most unique food recipes I've ever seen anywhere in the world.
Like this, a bowl of hundreds of sea urchin eggs cooked into a log and eaten like bread.
Wow, that is something else.
Welcome to Port Moresby, the vibrant capital of Papua New Guinea. In a country with over 800 languages and 600 tribes, this city of over 400,000 is truly a cultural melting pot. Today, I'm on a mission to reveal how this overlooked corner of Asia contains some of the most unique foods you'll find anywhere.
It's a Moorish.
Moorish.
You keep wanting to have more.
But first, we're starting our day at the local market with the guidance of local catering chef, Nikki.
This market is absolutely wild. What market is this?
Koki Market. Pretty famous for its local foods.
Located on the waterfront of Port Moresby, Koki Market is a vibrant hub where locals gather to buy and sell fresh seafood, produce, traditional goods, and a ton of different food.
What I like about starting a country by going to a market is that you get a really intimate idea of what people are eating there. There's a lot of seafood, there's a lot of oil, and then there's this.
It's a stuffed chicken neck.
Oh my God.
This delightfully bizarre dish begins with a slow build. Cabbages chopped, then carrots and garlic. Then flavor up the mix with Maggie seasoning cubes.
Is this something you've tried before?
This is my first time. I've actually never heard of this.
Add oil to the veggies and mix it together with chopped chicken organs, including heart, liver, gizzard, and kidney.
It's a wild idea, but I'm also wondering how come no one else thought of it before this moment. Do you feel appetized?
Now stuff the organs and veggies into our vessel, the hollowed out neck of a chicken. It's an inventive meaty sausage that just happens to have a head on top, watching you while you watch it.
So like when people are nervous and they say, I can feel like my heart pounding in my throat.
This is it.
Next, boil up a mixture of water, oil, coconut milk powder, chives, Maggie seasoning powder, and bell peppers. Finally, add the stuffed chicken necks and simmer until they're cooked through.
It's good to have the head on. You know what animal it is. You know it's not some kind of fake factory meat made by Bill Gates.
I think the best way to attack it is just right here. I see some color here.
Like a chicken vampire. Oh, wow. Oh, I have so many emotions right now. That is greasy as heck. Super heavy.
That's the liver. That's a bone.
It's like a fish bone. I think the chicken was still eating. Maybe that's how the chicken died. Every organ has a little bit different feeling to it as you chew. But then there's like crispiness coming from some of the vegetables. The skin on the outside is kind of gelatinous, soft, a little slimy.
In my wildest dreams, I would have never thought of capturing a chicken and stuffing it with its own guts.
This is kind of some unique, inventive culinary mastery happening in a corner of a market, in a corner of the world that nobody knows.
From what I understand, it sells out. It's quite popular here.
Let's talk about you. How did you get into cooking?
Started with my mother. That's when my love of cooking began. Then eventually it became a business.
And tell me about the business.
Nangu Chef Catering. We like to capture local foods, present it in a way that it's unique and presentable for the international stage.
How do you capture exactly what is local Papuan food?
As diverse as our culture is, so is the food.
The foodscape of Papua New Guinea is influenced by its native produce, so you'll find potatoes and bananas almost everywhere, often cooked with fish, pork, or chicken, and flavored with local herbs and spices. Cooking methods include boiling, plenty of frying, grilling, and using hot stones to cook meat inside an earth oven known as the mumu.
I do believe we'll be trying that, maybe not today, but eventually on this trip. But for now, why don't we take a look around the market and see what else we can find. The first food I see, it's sticking out, it's looking right at me. Red wieners.
Yes.
What's up with the wieners?
We refer to these as stavloi sausages. They're quite popular here. You probably got some beef. It wouldn't be the top cut of the beef because of its price range.
I don't mind that. I accept sausages of all varieties and all socioeconomic backgrounds. Right here we have fried bread.
Think of this as a run and gun pancake. What you got is just flour, mix it through with some cold water and fry it through.
That's it.
And it's totally yummy.
Let's move down a little bit. This is also a pancake, but it's in a different shape.
Here we're looking at wheat flour. So the way they fry it through, it's got a more oval shape, hence why it comes out like this.
Moving on. There's a lot of fish here, a lot of seafood. Is most of that from the ocean?
Yep, we just got a reef just right out there. So just basically getting these products, this fish in is quite easy. Toss it through some oil and then you're good to go.
Oh, yeah, this one right here.
We refer to this as garlic. So I'm assuming it's some of your off-cut meats mixed in with garlic and then processed.
It seems like the Papuan version of Spam.
Something similar.
We have this. It looked like she's just boiling bananas or plantains.
We call it 2-minute banana because it takes 2 minutes to prepare.
Sure. I've never thought of boiling a banana. What does that do?
These, when you harvest them, they're not entirely ripe. You boil it for 2 minutes, it's going to be a bit soft.
Oh, wow. That tastes like a potato. It's very starchy, soft, and almost like a mashed or steamed consistency. I like it.
I'm glad you like it. Do you want me to just get that? This is a flour rice ball. They boil the rice, they season it. There's a bit of soy sauce going on in there. They pack it in a bowl, throw it in a batter, fry it up, and then you basically got this.
Let's give it a shot.
But before we find out what's in that ball, I want to tell you about when I came face to face with failure on this show.
Failure. It's tough, and I've had my fair share of it. In making this show, things don't always go as planned. We've had to cancel shoots after months of hard work and preparation, and the disappointment that comes with seeing all that effort fall apart is brutal. Leading my team through those moments and finding the drive to keep going wasn't easy. But here's what I've learned. Failure can be the beginning of something even better. I just had a good idea. Moving on from failure is difficult, but therapy can make all the difference. It gives you the space to process what went wrong, learn from it, and figure out how to move forward. BetterHelp makes that support accessible wherever you are. They connect you with licensed therapists who specialize in helping people overcome failure and rebuild their confidence. Getting started with BetterHelp is easy. Just fill out a quick questionnaire and you'll be matched with a therapist who fits your needs. You can connect through phone, video, or messaging, whatever works best for you. And if the first therapist isn't the right fit, switching is simple and free. BetterHelp offers extras like a built-in journal for personal reflection and group sessions you might relate to. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5-star rating on Trustpilot, you know you're in good hands. If you're ready to turn failure into a stepping stone, try therapy. Visit BetterHelp.com/besteverfood or scan the QR code on the screen to get a special discount on your first month. Don't let failure hold you back. Rebuild with BetterHelp. Just go to BetterHelp.com/besteverfood or scan the QR code to get started today. Now, back to the show. That's pretty good.
It's interesting. You're getting into something crunchy, and then you get to the soft rice. It's a comfort food.
It's a comfort food. The most surprising thing, of course, it's been fried, but it's completely cold. Usually cold rice, it might be more kind of dried out, but since it's contained in this protective shell, it's cool and also moist, plus a little bit salty from that soy sauce.
I think the better idea for this would be to have it when it's fresh, while the skin is all crispy.
If that was an option, I would definitely do that.
Next, we're diving into P&G's street side meat masterpiece. But first, how did one of the world's most secluded countries become one of the most diverse?
This country, it takes up 1% of the world's landmass, but it has 5% of the world's languages. So that is kind of an indicator of just how diverse this place is.
Well, geographically, we are very divided. From the coastal areas, we don't necessarily have a road network going up to the highlands areas. The only way to get up there is via a plane.
You can't take a car there.
At least not yet.
This relatively small country has produced incredible diversity because for thousands of years, Papua New Guinea's rugged landscapes, mountains, and thick forests kept tribes isolated from one another. This isolation allowed them to create distinct languages and traditions. Soon we'll be headed to a coastal village to meet the original inhabitants of Port Moresby, who, despite being some of the poorest people in the country, dine on one of the most luxurious seafoods in the world.
If you were somewhere like Japan, it would cost $1,000.
But first, one more street food stop, and the most substantial meal available to grab and go in Port Moresby.
I'm excited to try out some of your street food. I'm told it's some of the best in town. It's a food known as a Lambflap.
This P&G street food icon starts with a layer of fatty lamb ribs spread across the flat top.
Is this something that you ate when you were younger?
Yes, it was a favorite. When we were teenagers, partying, coming home at 5 in the morning, we would go to the nearest Lambflaps market and just eat Lambflaps.
Oh, so this is like a drunk food.
This fatty meat gets a spritz of soy sauce. Then it's seasoned with a load of turmeric powder, chili powder, salt, and curry powder.
It's more better than chicken. It tastes very good.
On the side, our chef chops tomatoes, carrots, and limes, then scatters them over the protein.
What part of the sheep is the flap?
When it's cooked, it's got different layers of the fat, different layers of the meat.
So it's like flapping on the grill.
So it just flaps and then it separates, and then that's where the name flaps comes from.
Sorry, I'm just getting emotional about the lamb flaps.
Oh.
Pile up the seasoned lamb to make space on the flat top, then add even more. Again, the lamb is sprayed, seasoned, and stacked until the flat top reaches full capacity.
How did you get into the lamb flap making business?
I watch people like to cook in the TV. I can't get fried. Then I started to cook the lamb flap. So everybody liked the lamb flap. Said, hey, your lamb flap is very nice. Everybody came here. Some from overseas, like Australia Force, some member for parliaments.
Now, in an unconventional move, the chef covers the whole heaping pile with plastic bags and cardboard. This is sure to seal in the flavor, plus maybe add a bit extra too.
I thought it would look really cinematic to speak over the food, but the charcoal's on this side, and my eyes are right here.
Sorry?
No, don't be sorry.
Once grilled to perfection, each lamb flap is served with Kaukau, or sweet potato, iceberg lettuce, a slice of cucumber, and a little extra soy sauce.
It reminds me a little bit of southern barbecue in Texas. We have pork ribs, which look to be about the same size, and we also like them a bit soft, so maybe it's a little bit similar. Maybe our cultures are not so different. That's what I'm saying.
We are united by food.
Right now, we have an incredible meal before us.
Joining my table, Caroline, co-owner of Primordial P&G Cultural Retreat, and Simon. He works for P&G's tourism board.
Thank you for joining me for this meal. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a unique food for a couple of reasons. He covered everything with cardboard. I get that. You want to keep all the heat and moisture inside to make it soft. But before that, he covered it in plastic. How do you feel about the plastic? Is it
It doesn't add to the flavor.
I know. So you're starting with the lettuce.
You put it in the lettuce, you're making a wrap.
Little Korean barbecue. The lamb looks nice. It's greasy, soft, meaty.
The greasier, the better.
Cheers. The meat's delicious. Soft, juicy. It of course still has the lammy taste to it. I get why people like it. Mystery salt. The salt and seasonings he's put on there really comes through when you get a darker bite like this. That's heavy, and so you need to chase that with either some cucumber or some sweet potato. It's sweet, it's starchy, it's steamed perfectly, and the first thing I notice is the color is so different from a typical kind of orangey sweet potato that I'd be used to seeing. Why do you think this is so cheap compared to other cuts of meat?
Majority of Lambflaps is all imported from New Zealand.
Imported to me seems like it'd be more expensive.
There's a lot of freezers selling Lambflaps. That's why there's competition, so a lot of prices come down.
From here, we're going to a completely different neighborhood where they're eating food unlike anywhere else in Papua New Guinea.
20 minutes south of the city, we arrive at today's final destination, the floating Pari Village. Soon we'll see how piles of sea urchin are transformed into a seafood bread. This village of 3,000 consists mainly of the Motu people, descendants of Austronesian-speaking settlers who fancied this area 3,000 years ago. When guests arrive, they deliver a welcoming performance, similar to those their ancestors would have done generations ago.
Thank you.
To cap off the welcoming performance, a welcoming food. A treat that begins with the smashing of bananas. Mix in sago, a powder made by extracting the starchy pith from the sago palm. Wrap this yellow goo in banana leaves, then boil it for 15 minutes. In the meantime, coconuts are scraped then squeezed, extracting their white silky coconut milk. Strain the pulp, then boil it. The now cooked sago banana cake is cut into squares, then lathered with thick coconut milk. To make guests like Caroline and me feel more welcomed, Pari villagers offer to hand feed us the first bite.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
It's
Don't
a
be
sign
shy.
that you're extremely welcome.
I feel very welcome. It tastes good. It's almost a little better when someone feeds you. I like that part. I could get used to that. When does that treatment end?
Oh, it's over. It's over.
Oh, it's over. Okay. So the flavor, it's interesting because you really taste some of that sweet banana. It's almost like the sago is just giving it some body and the banana's giving it a lot of sweetness. And then of course the coconut cream, a little bit of sweetness, giving it a yummy, creamy, sweet flavor. I like it. Jiggly, soft.
Jelly.
It's a fun texture.
It's a Moorish.
Moorish.
You keep wanting to have more.
Oh yeah.
It's very dangerous.
Hosting my welcoming meal, traditional tattooist Guba Kidu and her sister-in-law Carol Kidu, an Australian who somehow became a prominent Papuan politician.
Can you explain to me your involvement with this village?
This was always home. Our whole life has been built around this village.
Carol fell in love with Buri Kidu, a law student from Pari Village studying in Queensland, Australia. They married in 1969. After the couple moved from Queensland to this very village, Buri became the first Indigenous Chief Justice.
So you've known all these people for decades.
5 decades.
Following his death in 1994, Carol entered politics, advocating for human rights, gender equality, and welfare. Now retired, she looks after her family and community.
Part of my mission for the short time that I'm here today is to see how people live here and especially how people eat, because there is some very unique food found in this village that you might not find in any other parts of Papua New Guinea.
The lives of Pari villagers are inseparable from the ocean. They live above its saltwater waves. They travel along its currents, and they consume the bounty within. Here, seafood is always on the menu. Fish, prawns, even crabs. But given the right conditions and the right season, these waters offer something a bit more extravagant.
Preparations for our big final feast have begun. A very crucial component of our meal resides within these sea urchins here.
The edible roe of these sea urchins is considered a delicacy for many around the world. Costing up to hundreds of dollars per pound, they're typically used in small amounts for high-end dishes.
You're going in by hand, diving for the sea urchins. In one go, how many sea urchins are you collecting?
It's about 300.
That's a lot.
But the way sea urchins are used here in Pari is something like you've never seen before, including a recipe that requires an entire gloopy bowl of sea urchin roe.
So she takes the sea urchin right here. She kind of chops around the crown of it, takes the top half off, and then she peels inside. There's the bitter guts. She removes that, gives it a bit of a rinse in the pot here. And this, Carol, of course, is
The eggs. Do you want to try it raw?
well, ooh, I don't know. It's so sulfury. You want to try some? Oh, wow, that's a big bite. Rich.
Sweet.
Ooh, it is so fatty. It's almost like eating an egg yolk, but even more rich and briny. From here, we're gonna scoop the eggs out of the remaining sea urchins and then cook these up and try them out.
This dish involves an organic DIY cooking contraption made by grilling banana leaves, then rolling them into a tube shape. The leafy vessel receives what would be a pricey portion of uni before being tied shut. It's then boiled for 20 minutes, transforming the creamy roe into a more solid composition. Then it's smoked over charcoal. News of our arrival has spread around the village, and we've been invited to sample each household's finest offering.
There's about 20 different foods here. Thank you so much, everyone. This is like the awesomest, most colorful potluck I've ever seen.
Starting off the meal, our long-awaited, luxurious grilled sea urchin roe, nestled inside crispy banana leaves.
Wow, that is something else. I mean, this is like a brick of sea urchin eggs. Let's give it a shot. Here we go. Oh, wow, it's so different.
It's very similar to mussels.
I agree with that. Somewhat the flavor of mussels, but the texture, it's kind of like a pate.
The sea pate.
It's almost like a big doughy piece of bread. Hera, what do you think of this one?
I never eat this.
Here you go.
Thank you.
I love introducing people to their own food. She took a big, healthy piece. I'm impressed. What do you think?
Oh, it's lovely.
What's wild about this, Carol, is the price. Because if you were somewhere like Japan, I mean, they would never dream of making a whole brick of uni. It would cost $1,000. You've seen so many different changes here over time. Can you tell me a little bit about the difference from 50 years ago to now?
I'd say until 20 years ago, probably, we all had our own gardens. We grew tapioca, yam, banana, pumpkin and things. And gradually people started to sell their land, or else their land was just illegally occupied.
Pari villagers have lost the land they used for growing gardens. Seafood bounties are in decline, and it's harder and harder to earn money.
Sometimes people feel they have no hope. We have a problem with young people, like in many societies.
Self-reliance is diminishing, but Carol hasn't lost hope. Soon she'll share her vision for the future. But first, an iconic coastal food that always satiates and satisfies.
One of the traditions of the village is something called one-pot cooking.
One-pot cooking is a lively tradition where everything from hearty root vegetables to fresh fish are tossed into a single pot over an open fire, conjuring up a smoke-filled celebration. Today, our pot is filled with pumpkin, sweet potato, banana, cassava, and a thick tuna steak.
Cover it with leaf and cook it.
You just add, and wait.
Just wait.
This looks like a big, giant piece of tuna. Is that right?
Yes.
Caught freshly this morning.
All right, I want to try this. This is a taro right here. That's delicious. I want to try some of that broth.
Whichever protein that you put in determines the flavor of the one pot.
Yeah, it's just going to flavor everything else in there. I'm going to try the tuna. Tender, juicy, delicious.
It's very nice. It's almost, this is organic cooking, really.
Yeah, this is like diet food. I mean, like real health food.
All the vegetables straight from the market.
No shelf life, no packaging. This is coconut rice. They mix the rice and the turmeric and spices together and then boil it in coconut.
All right. What does it taste like to you?
Like rice. Yeah.
I agree, the rice does taste like rice. Is that one cassava?
This has been grated and mixed with scraped coconut.
I'm gonna stab a piece. Oh wow, it tastes great. It's kind of mushy, but soaked with coconut.
Anything cooked with coconut is actually very delicious.
Yeah, it just makes everything better. So Carol, when we first got here today, there was kind of a impromptu performance, something to maybe honor some aspects of the culture in the past. Is that a possible revenue source for folks here?
This is why I agreed, yes, he can come, because I thought, it might give the family some concept that cultural tourism could be a way of earning some money.
What do you think is the way forward for the people here?
I think very much the solution is in the community, because the community is the basis of PNG society. Nurturing communities through the changes we're going through is a very difficult thing, and so it'll need a lot of real government focus on it.
What is your hope for your village here, maybe 5 years from now?
5 years is too short. I'd say 10 years. We just got to keep working with the children, the young people. I think we've almost lost a generation right throughout this country. We've got to really make them proud of who they were, what they're becoming, and give some purpose in their life.
Dame Carol, Caroline, everybody, thank you so much. It's an incredible day. Thank you.
Hungry for more fun food videos? Join me at more Best Ever Food Review Show, a channel that's unfiltered, raw, half the quality, and twice the fun.
Can you walk away and come back? Oh, look, the server.
Subscribe now and you probably won't regret it.
Dying. You look miserable on the camera. I am miserable. If you hadn't met him,
I would have been in Australia.
boring.
Boy, I guess because of some of my work in politics, I was made Dame Commander of the British Empire.
I'm just a food expert, but it's not a real certification or anything. I just made it up. Not so far from here, the Philippines. Wait, is that far from here? I have no idea where I am. What you see here isn't, I f***ed it up. All right. It's one of the many unique street foods you'll find here in Papua New Guinea. I don't know what I did with my hands there.
Until 20 years ago, everyone had gardens.
Garden, sorry. Boom, guys, that is the end of this video. Video number 1 in Papua New Guinea. This is just a taste of what's to come, because from here, it's about to get really wild.
Before we go, I want to say a huge thank you to Travis and PNG Experience for managing and planning logistics for this trip. PNG Experience offers intimate tour experiences, connecting you with the people and culture of Papua New Guinea. From kayaking through rolling surf breaks, savoring mouth-watering local seafood, or discovering the lost relics of World War II, there's a tour for every traveler. Thanks also to the Papua New Guinea Tourism Promotion Authority and Air New Guinea, the national airline of Papua New Guinea. Featured in this episode, Nangu Chef, who does catering all around Port Moresby. You can find him on Instagram. And Caroline. Learn more about her tour company on her TikTok.
Otherwise, guys, that is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Peace. I couldn't live here. Every time I would pee, I would fall off. And then I would still pee. But I would fall off. It would be a big issue.